Meeting of your Los Angeles City Council. Today is Wednesday, the 15th day of April in the year 2026, tax day.
Good morning. What would you like to speak to?
Good morning, respected leaders. I would like to speak to, in regards to a council file number 18060 in a liability claim title CAO, file number 0590-000985268 in regarding to financial negligence and accountability for 77 Precinct.
Okay, and I apologize. So do you see that on the agenda right now? Otherwise, yes, it's which item is it on the agenda?
I'm just learning. City Councilman, please forgive my regards.
That's okay, no worries. So
Yeah.
you have 1 minute for general public comment. Go ahead.
I'll do as quick as possible. This matter has been brought in regards to a reminder of the Wrangle 4.5 settlement out of the City General Fund. We are here today to bring this matter before the City Council in a case that we're asking the city under case number 625-6109 that is in the 9th Appellate Court right now for the unsealing and a removal of a protective order for the evidence and suppression of a whistleblower retaliation for the 77 Division. During that situation, what occurred was in 77 Precinct, Detective Charles Hicks, supervisor, lieutenants, commanders, and those 1 through 10 lost a fraudulent investigation, knowing that they had a person for the crime. Exonerating evidence was withheld in my husband's favor. Supervisor number 3265, Hicks 32548, Watch Commander 3148, and those 1 through 10.
I'm speaking on general public comment, item number 17. My name is Yasmin Quirino, and I'm a member with the USWW as a wheelchair assistant for LAX for 14 years. And I'm here today to let you know how much the Olympic wage has benefited me and my family, and it has changed my life. Before this is passed, I struggled to afford to pay my bills, rent, gas, everything's really expensive, groceries. And not me personally, I don't have 2 jobs, but I know a lot of my coworkers who have 2 or 3 jobs in order to sustain their family. And it's really, we have been struggling a lot. And now I feel that I can afford, with the Olympic wage that we're gonna be receiving in July, I feel that it will change everybody's lives when the wages go up, and we're gonna be able to help out our families, like our kids, or maybe put them to college. I know of some friends that don't have a car to even to get to work, so now they'll be able to afford a car to get to work. And this has been transformative for me and my coworkers as we get ready to host the World Cup and soon for the Olympics. And I'm also here to remind you to stay strong, because Delta and United Airlines have spent now a lot of millions to roll back our wages and health care, and are threatening the City Hall's budget by repealing the business tax. This is very shameful and cynical. Delta and United do not even pay the business tax. This is about billion-dollar corporations trying to take our hard-earned wages out of our pockets, wages that pay for our rent and grocery bills.
My name is Eric Langberg, a photographer who's been documenting LA's response to ICE since June. Half the people I wanted to address are not even here, so for the past few months, I've been trying to understand how the LAPD can claim they don't collaborate with the feds when those of us on the ground have seen it happen. I'm here to make sure that you all know that yesterday at the Police Commission, a rep from the Inspector General finally said what I've been asking somebody to clarify. It's so loud up there. Do you all not realize how disrespectful? Somebody finally said what I've been asking them to clarify for months. The LAPD considers, quote, federal immigration enforcement actions to only and exclusively be the moment when ICE takes someone. The OIG said yesterday that what happens at the MDC is immigration related, but not immigration enforcement. So therefore, the LAPD thinks it's fine if they assist what ICE does there. I know we all had a lot of laughs about the California Post cover this past week, claiming a secret socialist plot to take control of our police. Do it. You should want to be the kind of progressives they pretend you are.
Next speaker.
Good morning, members of the Los Angeles City Council. I am a lifelong resident, proudly, of El Sereno, 90032. I have lived and worked in this community. I support the businesses as much as I can. I am not shocked or saddened by my council representative. She fit nicely into the shoes of her predecessors, De Leon and Huizar. One is under a rock and one is in jail. She is brought filth to our community by allowing the demolition of for an outside developer to demolish a building. It is currently half demolished. It's been overtaken now by homeless. The gate is open. If anybody wants to go down to 5100 Huntington Drive, you can walk right in. There are no city permits posted, so I guess that's okay for this project. It's a 5-story, 100-unit low housing.
Okay. Buenos días, soy Ronnie y trabajo en comida rápida aquí en Los Ángeles.
Good morning, my name is Ronnie and I work in fast food here in Los Angeles.
Les urgimos que pasen la ley de trabajo justo en la comida rápida sin más demora.
We urge you to pass the Fair Work Ordinance for the fast food industry without further delay.
Los 50,000 trabajadores de comida rápida dependemos de su apoyo.
And the 50,000 fast food workers here depend on your support
Para asegurar que conozcamos nuestros derechos y así poder asegurar que nuestros trabajadores sean justos.
to ensure that we know our rights and so that we can guarantee fair and safe working conditions
Y seguros, conociendo las leyes que existen para protegernos.
knowing the laws that are in place to protect us.
Por favor, aprueben esta ley sin más demora.
So please pass this law without further delay.
Good morning. What would you like to speak to?
All items and general public comment.
Okay, so you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general. Please begin with the items. Go ahead.
So item 18 relates to the revenue forecast report for the next year, I guess, this year and next year. So another way to help generate what would effectively be revenue for the city is to try to avoid having as many lawsuits. In order to do that, you might need to, say, repair the sidewalks, fire Jim McDonnell, defund the LAPD, things like that. That would help bring in more revenue. So even if there's less revenue from all the different sources you're getting money from, you have more money left over. And you can put that towards good things instead of more policing and collaboration with ICE. So we have item, let's see. We've got construction. We have a grant from DHS somewhere in here. So should you really be accepting grants from DHS right now? Or at least you should you at least be scrutinizing these a little bit more? Because, you know, well, I mean, you shouldn't be accepting grants for police anyway, but you know how DHS is right now with fascism, with ICE, with all that stuff. So that seems like a very interesting source to be getting money from right now and being beholden to. And again, you shouldn't be accepting grants for police in general. You shouldn't be putting any money towards police. That's part of why we're in all these problems right now in this city, is because the LAPD keeps getting overfunded and they're killing people, harming people. You know, everyone called for you to defund the police years ago, and for some reason that's never happened from any of you. So we've got several REAP items. How about actually penalizing the landlords instead of basically forcing the tenants to keep paying rent when their apartment is completely below even remotely acceptable standards? But, you know, it's always pro-landlord. That's always what seems to happen at this council. None of you have been paying attention. Let's go to general public comment. Maybe the H through L social club can stop their conversation for a minute. Yeah, I'm talking about you all. Hernandez, Hutt, Arado, Lee, always chatting with each other instead of paying attention to public comments. Always you four that are just laughing it up with each other every meeting. So when are we going to get statements from any of you on the anti-trans discrimination at the Olympics? When are you going to condemn that? You should have condemned that weeks ago. This is discrimination in your city on city taxpayer resources, because that's all going to this event. And this is your prized event, and none of you will say anything about it. You won't even pay attention to me. You won't even stop your side conversations for 2 seconds just to listen to the public. When are you going to condemn the anti-trans discrimination at the Olympics? Cancel the Olympics, fire Jim McDonnell, defund the LAPD.
Good morning, my name is Jessica Durham. I'm the Policy Director for Lane, here to speak on item 17. And I don't need to tell you how devastating the tourism industry's measure to repeal the gross receipts tax would be, or that it would decimate the city budget and gut the city's services we all depend on. You all know that. Rather, I'd like to make a few points to highlight how cynical this measure is and also how it is bound to fail. First, this measure is backed by airline and hotel corporate interests with major funding from Delta and United. As airlines, they are exempt from the gross receipts tax. So it's especially cynical that they're funding a measure to repeal a tax they don't even pay. This is a not so thinly veiled attempt to extort council into rolling back wages and healthcare for tourism workers. Last summer, these same interests backing this measure poured millions into a failed attempt to referendize the Olympic wage. They failed
General public comment?
because Angelenos stood with workers. If this goes to the ballot, we know they will again. And in case there was any doubt as to the popularity of giving corporations a pass on taxes, and by the way, today's tax day, I know we all had to pay our income taxes, and this would be at the scale of effectively defunding the fire department. The polling tells us that this measure does not stand a chance. The LA County Federation of Labor conducted a poll earlier this year, finding that 70% of likely voters oppose repealing the gross receipts tax, with only a mere 22% in support. Again, 70% oppose and 22% in support. So this measure is shameful, it's reckless, but further, it's wildly unpopular, and it will fail. And we will fight to make sure that it does. So stay strong and do not yield to coercive pressure from billionaire companies seeking to further enrich their profits at the cost of their workers' hard-earned wages and healthcare. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Robert Isozaki. I'm here on behalf of the Office of Los Angeles County Assessor Jeff Prang. Our office would like to extend its sincere gratitude to Councilmember Park and the LA City Council at large for its consideration of our sponsored legislation, Senate Bill 1352, authored by Senator Valadares. We believe that this legislation is a necessary step toward aligning assessment standards and best practices with the expedited permit review processes implemented in connection with the January 2025 wildfires. We again thank you for your own fire relief and recovery efforts and for your review of this important legislation. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Haley Hernandez, and I am currently a master's student at USC. Homelessness in communities such as mine, Pico Union, which are already considered marginalized, increases stress for families and children living in these areas. Many students are being exposed to encampments and makeshift shelters in their neighborhoods, especially near schools, which can impact their sense of safety and emotional well-being. It also creates public health concerns due to limited access to sanitation and hygiene resources, affecting both individuals experiencing homelessness and the surrounding community. I urge the city to increase funding for outreach mental health services, affordable housing, and community-based support programs to better support these communities. Thank you.
Good morning, Council President Harris-Dawson and members of the Council. My name is Ariel Moore, Deputy Policy Director at the Los Angeles County Federation of Labor, where we proudly proudly represent over 800,000 members across every industry, including our essential public sector workers in the city of Los Angeles. I'm here today in opposition to the dangerous proposal being floated by the business community to repeal Los Angeles gross receipts tax. Taking away an additional $740 million would permanently cripple the city for years to come. At a time when the city is stabilizing its finances, thanks to the leadership of Mayor Bass, Budget Chair Katie Yaroslavsky, and the rest of council, it will put the neediest residents who depend on city services at risk. When those services are cut, it's not evenly felt, it's working class communities. Needless to say, this is a careless, reckless, and inhumane policy, and the business community should be ashamed of itself. The good news is it's only polling at 22%, and we're committed to making sure it's soundly defeated in November.
Okay, I'm here on behalf of, I live in El Sereno, zip code 90032, with the project that has just previously been spoken of, the project on the corner of Portola and Huntington Drive. I've lived there all my life. I've raised my family, and I'm very disgusted on what's going on that corner. We have made several attempts to reach our councilwoman. We're at 59 plus days trying to get in touch with her, set up a meeting, set up something to discuss this project. We were overlooked, not discussed with any of us or anybody in the community. And I'm here to request that you listen to us. We've tried to reach you by phone, by email, and we just don't get a response from you at all. So please make that effort and get a hold of us. Thank you.
Councilwoman. My name is Ezekiel Vera. I'm a resident and small business owner of El Sereno. I'm here to speak also about the project on Portola. I just want to say the community of El Sereno has opened its hearts to many projects, and I could name a few that we have. Currently, we've had opened our hearts to 2 community home key projects in El Sereno, providing 120 beds. The Rosa de Castilla Apartments added 85 affordable units for veterans and low-income residents. Next to the Happy Valley Lights multifamily housing, 70 units. Next to the Hacienda, 57 units. Huntington Hacienda, 117 units. Rose Hills Court Projects, 185 units. The Greystone Apartments, 98 units. Numerous additional projects, including the Annie Sippy Clinic with 89 beds, and the Park Boehner, 89.
Okay. Hi, my name is Francisco. I'm a proud member of Unite Here Local 11. I've been working at LAX as a cashier for 3 years. Making a living at LAX is difficult. I struggle to pay for my medication and rent. This July, when wages go up because of the Olympic wage, it's going to help me be able to afford my rent and also my medication that I buy month to month. I'm also here to remind you to stay strong. Delta and United Airlines have spent millions to try and roll back our wage and health care and are threatening the city's budget by the measure to repeal the business tax. This is shameful. Delta and United do not even pay the business tax. This is about billion-dollar corporations trying to make hard-earned wages out of our pockets. We need you to stand with workers and not cave into corporate pressure, even if their measure has to go to the ballot. We know it's a losing proposition.
General public comment?
Angelino stood with us against the failed referendum that these same corporations funded last summer. We know they will stand with us again, and together we will defeat this at the polls. Thank you.
Good morning. What would you like to speak to?
Good morning, Grote. I'll take all items and general public comment, please.
Okay, so you get 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general. Go ahead.
Thank you. Item 17, I would just like to echo what we've already heard so far in chambers. It's pretty evident by how many millions are spent by business entities and corporations to avoid taxes and quash labor movements. It's almost like they have resources to pay workers a living wage, but are reliant on a subservient working class that's constantly barely scraping to get by, because that means we accept poor working conditions, low wages, untenable hours, and if they were actually to put those resources that they put into lobbying and busting unions into just paying their workers and having sustainable businesses, we wouldn't all be so desperate and hungry and willing to put up with their bullshit. Item 40 is regarding tax assessments for reconstruction of homes damaged in disasters, specifically the fires from last year. So the city is basically saying they get an extra 10%, so they can rebuild to 100% of the original size, and it would still be considered substantially equivalent, meaning their taxes wouldn't increase. I guess it's fair. It's just not lost on me that most of the homes that were lost, particularly in the Palisades, not necessarily in the Eaton fires, but certainly in the Palisades, were like multi-million-dollar homes for rich folks. One time, my Congressman Brad Sherman said that people moving forward into the future, we're going to have to adjust our expectations of square footage, meaning poor people are going to have to deal with tiny, shitty apartments. But that's never how we treat rich folks. It's neither here nor there. I generally support it. We have a lot of REAP motions on this agenda. For those who don't know, REAP, R-E-A-P, stands for Rent Escrow Account Program. What that means is that when a landlord is found to be in violation of the standards that are set for tenants as far as what's considered livable in a rental unit, the tenant doesn't get a break on rent because they're dealing with substantial conditions. They just have to put their money into an account that a landlord can't touch until they've met abatement, which I feel like, considering how many REAP motions we see on a regular basis, is not a very good deterrent. And typically, if I don't do my job, I don't get paid. It's not that my boss has to put money in a secret account that I can't touch, and then I eventually do my job and then get a paycheck. That's not how it works for the working class. But for the owning class, for the rich class, the class you serve, they're never at a loss. You always want to give them money. Nithya Raman is running for mayor, but the way that she votes just proves that she doesn't care about the people she panders to. She lies about the things she says that she wants to do. She voted yes to give police drones and yes on LAPD funding over and over again. She sold her soul and she's bad at governing. Take a look around. She's out of touch, we're out of time, and the city would be better if she weren't around. She's out of touch, we're out of time. Progressives should vote Ray this time around. Vote, vote. How come Councilmember Rahman is never here when I write a song that's just for her? I hope you all enjoyed it. Shout out Smoke and Scan. Get ICE fuck out of LA. Fuck ICE. Thank you.
Next speaker.
Gender affirmative resolution with respect for Member Council Isabel Jurado. I'm here in support of this item. We all know our community is being attacked in many ways, so we need your support. Trans people are already have it difficult, and we, with this, give us some support in moving forward with our lives. In my behalf, I'm already past that point, but I'm doing it for young generation, for a better future for them, and to live with dignity, feeling good about them. Please, council members, have our community in mind for California heading for the future progress for all. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Maya Daniels. I want to thank Councilmember Isabel Jurado for her resolution in affirming the city's support for gender-affirming healthcare. I also want to thank Councilmember Eunice Hernandez and Councilmember Heather Hutt for their protection and support of all communities. Gender-affirming healthcare is essential, evidence-based care that supports an individual's mental health and ability to live authentically and thrive. I personally have seen 2 Black gender nonconforming and trans friends pass by suicide this year. I uplift their names, Pepper Williams and Erica Mosley. The proposed federal actions introduced by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to restrict Medicaid coverage for this care are not medically sound and cause further deterioration to our already frayed and brittle public health protections. They would override doctors' expertise, disregard parents' decisions, and place vulnerable youth at serious risk of harm. A draconic attack on the autonomy of the public. The resolution Councilmember Jurado introduced today uplifts.
Speaker, your time has expired.
All right, well, good morning. My name is Jovan Wolf, and I'm a trans man. I'm also a veteran. I am the executive director of Invisible Man, and I'm also an angel of change with the Trans Latina Coalition. All right, I'm here in support of the resolution towards gender-affirming care by Councilmember Isabel Jurado. I want to be very clear. As you all know, what's happening to trans people in this country right now is not an abstract thing. It's actually really dangerous at this very moment, and we all know this. We all see it on the news every single day. Open up your TikTok, you can see it. Across this nation, gender-affirming care is being stripped away. Trans people are being pushed out of systems meant to serve them and all Angelenos. Our lives are being debated like we're not even human beings anymore. And what I'm not saying is theory. This is all what we are feeling and what we are experiencing in our communities. I serve this country, okay? And so I need y'all to, really think about how it would feel if you got your dignity stripped away from you, because my gender-affirming care did, okay? So think about that.
My name is Bowie Faye Carr. I am a commissioner of your Transgender Advisory Council, but today I stand as a representative of the trans community of the city of Los Angeles, and I will have your attention. Today, there is a resolution made by Councilmember Jurado, and tonight, you have the opportunity to save thousands of lives as a result of this resolution. I am somebody who has lived with suicidal ideation my entire life. I've made several attempts of my life, and the only reason I am here standing and speaking and representing your city is because of the life-saving health care that comes from gender-affirming care. The lack of Medicaid for these youth is going to cost lives. This city's motto is LA for all, and RFK Jr.'s proposals to cut Medicaid funding makes this city LA for some, LA for the elite, LA for the wealthy, and not LA for my community. If you stand with Councilmember Jurado, you stand with my community. Thank you.
And my name is Kirk Conley, known as Kirk Conley. Kirk Conley, known as Mr. Jones. In 2018, Detective Hicks was assigned Homicide Division, despite knowing all the evidence that he had. Knowing that I was a long-term public servant of California, did a dig, an Arkansas dig, for evidence as malicious, premeditated malice doing this narrative. He used taxpayers' monies and their dollars to do this dig to uncover obscuratory evidence when he knew I was in California. He used the 77 Division to do this. We are asking to remove the protective order of the circuit court.
I'll let you know before that your sound system's really bad. Like, it's really hard to hear.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. I want to start off with the fires, and it seems like you guys are just trying to torture these poor people. Like, you guys, took away their water. It was a whole disaster. Just let them build their houses, and no, you don't get to increase their your tax base because you guys created or allowed the conditions to continue to where they lost everything. So give them a break and let them rebuild. When it comes to the public safety items, I want to put that on hold, and for one reason only, because a couple weeks ago when the council president went to the police meeting, I actually came back here and was trying to tell him I agreed with a bunch of points that he was making. No, but this is why I don't want it to be voted yes.
I don't like to interrupt you, but which item are you speaking to?
The
You're
one on the
to
public,
the
the one on
general.
the public grant for any of the public funding for the There's
It's
a
not
bunch
really,
of them.
so item 25 is open for public comment. That is the acceptance of a state Homeland Security Program
Yeah,
grant
that's
award.
public,
But
yeah.
I need you to connect your comments to that
I
item.
am. I
Otherwise,
am.
I'll
I'm
give
just
you a little bit of
saying-
time, but otherwise I'm going to move you to general. So this is your only warning. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I'm saying why I don't want it yet, because I think that if I'm trying to tell the council president that I agree with him, he should be listening. So he owes me an apology for not listening. And that is, because then when
Hey,
I
this
get
is
an
your
apology.
final warning as a
you
courtesy.
can
Otherwise,
move
I'm going to move you to general.
Okay,
So.
no, don't change me yet. But we all know that. I bet Smoke and Scan will agree with me on that. Okay. Anyway, the next one I want to do is about the property abatements. I am so proud of my councilman over there, Mr. Nazarian, who's not listening as usual. No, there we go. Thank you, sir. He did a great job. Okay, in doing the abatement over on Varna. Okay. I wish that CD 13 would do the same because he's received many, many, many complaints. So many different complaints, probably more complaints than Mr. Nazarian got on Varna. Okay, and he does nothing. And the address for that, which I would like to see abated, is 4810 Sunset Boulevard, the Scientology building. He knows about all the complaints. And election years are coming, and sometimes elections have consequences. Okay, and I think Smoke and Scan will agree with me on that. Okay, and the other than that, I guess we could just go to public comment.
Okay, so you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
All right, well, first of all, I owe Smoke and Scan an apology. He accidentally got, a comment got erased by accident. It happens. But I am so glad that Smoke and Scan is here because he shows, and he probably has better volume and better, the mic's probably working better on his.
Well,
This is
general
my
is quite
public
broad.
comment.
I know, but you need
better
to
pause
connect
my
it to something
time,
that's
sir.
within this jurisdiction of this body.
It is, okay? Anyway,
Again,
okay,
I've
so
given
my
you a lot of
point
warnings today. This is your
is-
final one.
Okay, but you're cutting my time off. Okay, so what I am asking you guys to do is to stop giving Scientology and allowing these permits. Mr. Soto Martinez, please do your job. You are too supportive of them. You're not doing enough. And I'm wondering if your competitors for this election will listen to us and hear us. Because there's so much of a nuisance. There's so many times that we've come to you and to the city, and you just step back and just okay, whatever, it's not my problem. It is your problem. There's a lot of stuff, abuse, all kinds of abuse, pyramid abuse, human abuse. We've been coming to you over and over again. And give the CAO a break. You guys are too hard on him. Thank you.
Okay. My name is Maria Romero. I am a member of SEIU USWW at LAX for 19 years. I'm here today to let you know how much the Olympic wage has benefited me, changed my life. Before this passed, I struggled to afford a car and bills and rent. And now I can afford this July, when my wage goes up again, I'll be able to afford more, thank you, my payments and access healthcare. This has been transformed me and my coworkers as we get ready to host a World Cup and soon after the Olympics. I'm also here to remind you to stay strong.
General, go ahead.
Delta and United Airlines has spent millions now to roll back our wages and health care and are threatening the city budget by repeal the business tax. This is shameful. Delta and United do not even pay business tax. This is about billionaire corporation trying to take hard-earned wages out of our pockets, wages that pay our rent and bills. We need you to stand with the worker and not cave into the corporate pressure, even if their measure has to go to ballot. Angelino stood with us against the failed referendum. These same corporation funds, and we know they will stand with us again together. We will defend this at the poll. Thank you.
My name is Maria. As a LAX worker and a SEIU USW member, I'm here today to let you guys know how much the Olympic wage has benefited me and my coworkers. Before this passed, I struggled to afford, and Several of my coworkers couldn't afford and had to work 2 jobs, wasn't sure how to pay their bills or any medical bills. Now that we can afford this July, when our wages go up again, I'm hoping that nothing changes and that we're able to continue to have what we were agreed to deserve. This has been transforming for me and my coworkers as we get ready to host the World Cup as soon after the Olympics. I'm here also to remind you to stay strong. Delta and United
General?
Airlines have spent millions now to roll back our wages and healthcare and are threatening the city's budget by repealing the business tax. This is a shameful and cynical. Delta and United do not even pay the business tax. This is about billions-dollar corporations trying to take hard-earning wages out of our pockets, wage that pay our rent and grocery bills. We need to stand with workers and not cave into corporate pressure, even if this measure has to go to the ballot. Angelinos stood with us against the failed referendum. This same corporation fund, and we all knew that we won this fair and share. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I am
Sir, 1
honored
minute.
to be before you guys this morning. God bless each and every one of you. My comment is in the vein of requesting support for organizing working groups within the respective districts of CD8, CD13, CD15, and CD14. It's very important to engage communities, especially those of faith, in dialogue that is constructive and towards the collective aims of city council representatives and community members. One thing that I want to mention that's a little bit outside of the purview is Diablo Canyon, and just getting word of mouth about saving that facility from being decommissioned. I have managed to be honored to get in contact with staff of Mayor Bass in an effort to connect with Councilmember McOsker, the port and the training goods facility that's being developed. Thank you guys. God bless.
Un minuto, adelante.
Okay. Mi nombre es Bebe Olivares. Vivo en Los Ángeles, en el Distrito 10. Mi presencia aquí es por el apoyo a mis compañeros TGI con fondos para vivienda, mayor cobertura médica, así como seguridad y oportunidades de trabajo.
Hello, yes, my name is Bebe Olivares. I live in Los Angeles, District 10. I am here to support my TGI friends for livable wages or for adequate housing, security, and medical coverage.
Somos una comunidad que ha sido estigmatizada
We are a community that has been stigmatized,
y queremos atención a las autoridades correspondientes.
and we want the attention from the corresponding authorities.
Thank you.
Good morning to the board, council members. My name is Pamela Molleda. I advocate for gender affirming care resolution. Gender affirmation is an individual decision. The transgender community have been under attack by most of the society, which lack empathy for us. Transgender people often face violence, family rejection, exclusion from employment and education. I have had very difficult experiences in my life, but the Trans-Latina Coalition played an important role in my life to be successful. I have been attacked because of my identity. Hate crimes have affected my life deeply. The trans community often struggles to find basic resources like food, mental health, and housing. Please consider my trans community as you continue with your own priorities. The trans community now has the biggest problems of lacking resources to achieving their priorities as human beings. To everyone who is part of the board council members, thank you so much for your support during these difficult times to remind us that we are not alone. Thank you very much to all of you.
Buenos días, mi nombre es René Ocampo y resido en el este de Los Ángeles en una casa transicional.
Yes, my name is Rene Ocampo. I live in East LA in a transition house.
Estoy aquí para expresar mi apoyo a la coalición translatina y a miembros de nuestra comunidad.
I'm here to express my support to the Trans-Latina Coalition as well as the members of my community.
And can we hold his time for a second? So before you continue, can we just ask him to move the microphone a little closer, please? Thank you.
Sí, por favor, si puede acercar el micrófono. Gracias.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Una inversión de $4 millones destinada a organizaciones comunitarias que trabajan con personas transgénero e intersex.
We are asking for $4 million allocated to an organization that works with intersex people as well as transgender people.
Ya que las personas transgénero siguen sufriendo la falta de vivienda y la falta de servicios esenciales.
Due to the fact that transgender people are suffering from lack of housing and adequate resources.
Por eso los invito a apoyar y mejorar la vida de todas las personas marginadas a través del proceso de presupuesto de la ciudad.
And that's why I invite you to support people who have been marginalized all their lives by way of the budget process.
Thank you.